What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. First game of pre-season done and dusted. The Frank era is well and truly up and running, people. 2-0, Spurs 2, Reading 0, in a game where we saw two different 11s in each half. So obviously in the first half, we saw Kinski in goal. We saw a back four of Porro on the right, a Doggy on the left, Kuti Romero and Kevin Danso at centre-backs. We saw Pape Matar and Bentancur sitting in the double pivot. We saw Brendan Johnson on the right. We saw Mikey Moore on the left, Alfie Devine in the 10, and Dom Solanke up top. So we'll talk about the first half first and foremost, which, yeah, I thought was decent. I thought there were some good performers out there without really threatening Reading too much, I would say. But, yeah I think, for me, the most impressive player was definitely Destiny Doggy, the way he had control of that left-hand side, darting down, and even later on in the last 10 minutes, providing some really good link-up play with Mikey Moore. But I just thought, like, he just looked fresh, energetic, athletic, and just on it, really. Yeah, and I thought there was a few interesting things we could see from that first half. I think definitely how direct we're going to Solanke. Porro whipping in crosses a lot earlier than maybe we have done last season under Ange. Clearly he was a bit deeper, a Doggy given the license to bomb forward, and he was staying a lot wider. Both wing backs were not kind of inverted. They were kind of definitely staying a lot wider and doing maybe what was more natural to them. I think I like the idea of Porro kind of getting into those half spaces and crossing a lot earlier, and definitely he was using his passing range from deep to get forward, to get Tottenham forward very quickly, and obviously he went direct into Dom Solanke quite often as well. Devine playing in that number 10 role, popping up in different areas of the pitch, very similar to what Damsgaard was doing last season, kind of given the license to roam to the left, to the right, and pick up all different spots. And it was hard for Reading to pick him up. Nearly got an assist, but did struggle to get into the game other than that. But Kinski, I thought his passing was phenomenal. I was really impressed with what he was able to do with the ball at his feet. Looked really, really comfortable and was really setting Tottenham up on some really good moments with his passing range as well. Mikey Moore was growing into that half the longer it went on. I thought he was playing more in the half spaces in between the lines, with the Doggy definitely staying wider, and he was kind of given that license to pick up the ball in the space, run at the back four, and was struggled to get into the game up until kind of later on in the last 15 minutes of that half, where he was really starting to get involved and hurt the opposition. Solanke, I felt, used his hold-up play to good effect. He was definitely staying in the box a lot more. Bit disappointed probably with that finish he had, which he put over the bar. Probably be disappointed at that, but he was obviously a lot more in the box, and we're looking for him a lot more as well. And I think the more we do that, and the more we get used to his runs, that will pay dividends as well. Disappointments, I guess Brennan wasn't great when he was involved. Moves were breaking down a lot with him. So he wasn't fantastic well. I thought Danso was pretty decent as well in that half. But I just think that, we're playing 4-2-3-1, and it was very similar to kind of how Brentford were setting up, I felt, last season. You could see that being implemented this season. Yeah, absolutely. And I really like the dynamics of both fullbacks. I spoke about a Doggy before, the way he was kind of like high up the pitch and really having control of that left-hand side. Porro a bit further deeper and able to play those line-breaking passes and over-the-top through balls from deep. And I think he was doing that to a really good level. Yeah, like maybe not much came from them, but I think Solanke was always looking to get on the end of them, and I think that's a positive when you're looking at the way that Frank wants to set us up. And I think Dom Solanke, he did come deep a couple of times, but I think for the most part he did just stick up there in the number 9 position, trying to feed off the long balls and looking to be aggressive up against the centre backs and just cause a real nuisance for himself, which I think he did, particularly in the first 25 minutes. And yeah, he was definitely a threat, Solanke, and I liked the energy levels that he was showing on the pitch. But yeah, it does take you back to maybe Brendan Johnson, what you were saying before. Like, a lot of the times I just felt moves broke down when the ball came over to him. First touch really let him down, which was unfortunate. Maybe still feeling the effects of the hangover after the Europa League. But look, it's first game back from pre-season, so it's hard to make too many sweeping judgments on negative performances. But what you can focus on is what we've seen in a positive light, in my opinion, on the game. And from the first half, it was definitely Porro and Udogie. I thought were good, really good. Danso looked good, and yeah, like you mentioned before with Mikey Moore, in the last 10 minutes of that first half, he started to grow in the game, and I was saying to you at the time, like, it's just a bit of a shame that he's going to go off now, because he was really starting to strut his stuff.
Yeah, so hopefully he can build on that, and well, we'll remain to be seen what our plan is for him, but I thought he was really starting to get involved and look really energetic. I think the roles of the fullbacks are going to be very important. It's going to be different. I think it's going to be more suited to their strengths, and I'm really looking forward to how they adapt to it over the coming season, because I really think Porro playing in that kind of half space, kind of like Trent-like, and with Udogie bombing forward on the outside and staying wider, it's really going to suit both of them.
I like it. I like the Trent-like, already taking up Frank's
Trent-like,
already taking up Frank's terminology. But look, in terms of moving on to the second half, we made 11 changes. So Vicario came in goal, Van de Ven and Vuskovic at the back. We had fullbacks of Jed Spence and Ben Davis. We had a midfield three of Yves Bissouma, Jamie Donnelly and Lucas Bergvall, Kudus on the right, Sonny on the left, and Will Lancashire up top. And I think you did see a difference straight away, to be honest. We went 1-0 up quite early on. 2 goals that we did score, both set-piece goals, and we saw actually before the game, they were very much practicing set pieces on the pitch, and you can see that's going to be a big staple of our play next season in terms of set pieces. And the main talking point is going to be of Luka Vuskovic, because the corner comes in for the first goal. He gets a really nice head onto that, and it falls into Will Lancashire path. He's done really well to get to that goal. And every time we got a set piece from then on, we were like, all right, it's like a bloody penalty. Luka Vuskovic was just on everything, and his first 3 touches. Has there ever been a player that has come in for their first game and had better first three touches than that? An assist with the first one, gets a goal with the second one with an unbelievable finish. Like, wow, he just guides that into the far corner like he's a seasoned veteran striker. Unbelievable. And his third touch was a goal save, or one off the line, or just in front of Vicario. Vicario might have been getting to that, but still, you got to make it yours, and that's exactly what he done. But today belongs to Luka Vuskovic, man. What a performance, and what a first 3 touches in the Spurs shirt.
It's one hell of a way to introduce yourself to the Spurs fans. Obviously, there's been a lot of hype about him, a lot of excitement. We've seen what he's been doing out in Belgium last season, with the goals he's been scoring and the quality he's showing. And the question is, can he come here and show that for Tottenham, or is it still too soon for him? But if this was any indication, woof, straight away in there with the threat from set pieces. I know, look, it's a friendly, it's a championship side, you've got to take that all to account, but still, you can only play what's in front of you, and to do that in your first 10 minutes as a Tottenham player, as a teenager as well, is mightily impressive, and it's so exciting about the future for him. The towering header to the back post, brilliant flick on, and fair play to Lancashire, does really well to kind of get into position and finish it, but it was all about Vuskovic winning that first header, and the way he stayed forward, makes the correct run when Kudus kind of breaks the offside trap and kind of plays it into his path, and the way he just sweeps it into the far corner with power, literally nestles into the side netting.
Power and precision, wasn't it?
It's unbelievable on his weaker foot, and I noticed he was very, very comfortable using that left foot,
right foot, no matter.
Throughout the whole game, whether it's passing, take it under control, he has no qualms about using that left foot. He will happily play a pass, whether it's switch a play or a pass out wide with that left foot, which shows how two-footed he is. And then that goal, I mean, if you ever needed more evidence of how two-footed he is, phenomenal finish. I think any striker in the Premier League would be proud of that finish. The way he just stroked it into the corner, and you couldn't quite believe it was him when it was going in, and it was phenomenal. And a star was born, as you say, probably after that moment. All the talk about him, it's so exciting, and I thought that obviously gave him the confidence to really dominate. I thought him and Van de Ven, I actually thought even in general play defensively, he was more impressive, Van de Ven. Van de Ven had a few iffy moments, but Vuskovic seemed to be doing everything, apart from there was one real loose pass which he kind of got away with. I think he was actually the more impressive of the two in the first game. Yeah,
I completely agree with that. And when we signed him, it seems like so long ago when we signed him as a 16-year-old boy. He's 18 years old now, and we've just been following him so closely from the Croatian league to the Polish league to the Belgian league, and we're like, can he do it in English football? Yes, it's just a pre-season. Yes, it is against League One Reading. He's come in though in his first game and looked at home. look completely at home. So I'm very excited what the future holds. Whether he still goes out on loan or he's here to stay for next season, he is going to be a real handful wherever he plays. He's just such a threat from an offensive position, and he looks strong from a defensive position as well. So yeah, unbelievable. And finally we got to get to see him in a Spurs shirt, and he did not disappoint today. The other player that we have to speak about that the first time we've seen in a Spurs shirt is Mohammed Kudas, because everyone's so excited to see him. He only wanted Spurs. He's got Spurs in his heart, and he played like it today. I mean, some of the moves that he was doing was just to die for. Such an exciting player to watch. Takes it past his opponent with ease. There was that one move down the line with some really nice link-up play with Jed Spence, where he played it to Donnelly, and Donnelly didn't put it in the back of the net. But what an unbelievable passage of play that was. And just the nice little back heels and the way he can take it past his man. This guy is going to be such an exciting player for us.
Yeah, 100%. And a similar in terms of more like for the first, I know he ended up in the first 10 minutes of the game or first 15 minutes of his appearance with an assist, and also he took the corner, which obviously led to the first goal. So he made a positive impact. But he actually wasn't getting involved in the game that much, apart from those couple of moments. He was taking set pieces, and we weren't getting him in on the right. We weren't really getting the ball in him in general play. So I was wanting him to get more involved. I was wanting to see more of Mohammed Kudas. And about the 65th minute mark, all of a sudden, we started to play the ball to him. He started to get his dribbling boots on. He started to kind of get involved in the game. He started to take the game training, and all of a sudden became alive. It was like a switch was turned on, and all of a sudden it became a spark. He was taking people on. He was doing pirouettes. He did that mad run down the line where he was beating 2 or 3 Reading players to the ball and getting into the box and causing trouble, laying one on a play for Jamie Donnelly. Really, really exciting kind of second half performance from Mohammed Kudas. It was, again, any indication of what he's going to bring to Tottenham. Super exciting. Every time he decided to, he was going to dribble and this was going to be his moment, he was just so hard to stop. Obviously, again, it comes to decision making and stuff in the final third, which I don't think it was bad today, but obviously you want to see him be a bit more effective when he gets into the final third. But when it came to that dribbling ability, running his way out of trouble, winning fouls, linking up with the forward players, really, really positive first start. And he was so electric at times in this game. And I think Reading will be happy that they don't have to play him again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they were struggling.
Interestingly enough, with Mohammed Kudas, he was actually on the corners, wasn't he, when Sonny was on the pitch, which was very interesting for me to see. And, at a decent level as well. Yeah,
good set pieces, causing trouble. Well, a lot of them were straight onto the goalkeeper, and he was causing them a lot of trouble. Goalkeeper's forced to punch them and stuff like that. So I really like his performance. The only thing I'd say, maybe getting a bit more involved, but other than that, obviously there's another 10 players on the pitch. They all got to have their time on the pitch, but fantastic first performance, and really, really exciting. And this is exactly what we want to see. Someone who's got that ability. Is such a difference between him and Brennan. Like when Brennan's on the ball, he's always looking backwards. He's always kind of not confident about taking on his man. But Kudus, his first thought, can I beat him? Can I get into that space? How do I get past his man? And I think they struggled to stop him.
Such an exciting player, and I can't wait to see more of him in a Spurs shirt. Another player who impressed was Jamie Donnelly. Came in second half, ball playing ability, maybe could have had a goal as well. Definitely very much more involved than Alfie Devine was in the first half.
Yeah, I think so. And I think when he was on the ball, looked more comfortable, made quicker decisions. I thought showed more quality as well. So for me, I thought Donnelly, if there was an audition between one of them being in the squad for next season, I thought Donnelly was the one who took it a lot better. Some really good switches of play. I thought some really good flicks and interchanges with Son as well at times. And he just looked a lot more comfortable, I felt. Well, I don't think it was like anything mind-blowing, but he looked at home, whereas I thought Donnelly... I thought Devine seemed a bit behind the levels, whereas I thought Donnelly looked way more at home. Obviously, he was, played in League One last season, so that kind of level isn't new to him. But I thought really, really good stuff from Jamie Donnelly, so really encouraging.
Decent showing from Ben Davis at left back as well.
Davis was good,
I thought
solid.
From a defensive capability, he did really well. Jed Spence, a bit up and down. I thought Spence, like, on the ball, a few misplaced passes here, but a nice little link-up play with Mohammed Kudas down that right-hand side. He could have given away a penalty. Haven't seen it back again, but I thought that could have been given. But, yeah, a bit up and down from Jed Spence. Interesting with the dynamic between Vicario and Kinski, because Kinski obviously did such great work in the first half with his ball-playing ability, getting us into dangerous areas with that. Vicario kind of like out of sorts in that situation.
I thought Vicario really struggled with the. I don't know whether
he made better saves than Kinski.
Yeah, I guess Kinski didn't really have any saves to make. So I mean, there was obviously one moment Kinski looked a bit dodgy from a free kick, but then Vicario as well was struggling at some set pieces at points. But when it came to just purely what maybe Frank was asking to do from the ball at their feet kind of standpoint, I have to say Vicario struggled badly.
Yeah.
It was a real awkward watch, to be honest. He didn't look comfortable. I have to say, he didn't look comfortable when he had the ball at his feet. Most of his passes were going out of play. I think Kinski did have one, but most of them were hitting the target and were positive. I think Vicario was kind of the opposite. Most of them were kind of awkward to control or going out of play, and he panicked. He was panicking quite a bit. He was forcing himself to do like up and unders and clearances. And I just felt Kinski looked so much more comfortable with the ball at his feet, and clearly they were both asked to kind of play out the back and be involved in it. And Vicario, have to say, just didn't look very comfortable with it. So whether that leads to, down the line, Vicario is going to have to improve that element. Otherwise, Kinski might well find himself in the number one. Obviously, can't make too many judgments based on that game because it was Reading. As I said, Kinski didn't have too much to do when it came to shot stopping. Vicario had a couple of saves to make and he made them well. So whether Kinski would have done the same, we'll never know. But when it comes to that element, this is obviously the suggestions we were making when Frank first came in. Kinski's going to be a lot more comfortable with that kind of stuff. And I think that first half of that first game definitely showed that. So definitely things to work on for Vicario. And on that evidence, you've got to be a bit worried for him, to be honest, because if that's going to be how uncomfortable he's going to be, he's going to have to work on that. He really, really does. But anyway, that was a slight negative. Son, have to say, I was disappointed in him. He looked out of sorts. There was just something wrong with him. He looked off the pace. He was miscontrolling things. He ballooned a shot off over the bar from the edge of the box. He looked a bit, when he got the ball, there was moments where he was just leaving the ball behind him. He just looked, whether, maybe he hasn't been back in training for too long. So to be fair, maybe he just needs to get up to speed a bit because he's only been back in training for a couple of days. But just looked off the pace. He looked off the pace completely, to be honest, Sonny.
I think there was something off about Son in terms of, I don't want to say attitude because it's hard to say that Son ever has a bad attitude, but I felt like his shoulders were slumped, body language was a bit off. He didn't look on it at all. And it was sad to see Sonny like that because he just did not look happy to be on that pitch. He
seemed down.
Yeah,
his head was down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Down. Like, body language just looked all off from Sonny. And is that, is his time at Tottenham done? I don't know. But if today's anything to go by, it's not a good look.
Yeah, and I think he wasn't confident taking on his man. To be fair, when he first came on, he did one really good, step over and then a cross, and I think that led to the corner. Obviously, we scored, and I think, okay, Son's looking good, and then we did keep feeding him. We fed him a lot more than we fed Kudus, and he just wasn't able to do anything. When he did try and take him on, he lost out. A lot of the times he didn't even try. He just went backwards, and even then, some of his passing back to the fullback and stuff wasn't particularly fantastic. I think his runs were good. He was getting good positions, but never really
application on the ball.
Yeah, he just didn't look confident. He looked down. He seemed he just looked off the pace. And yeah, look, let's just see how the rest of pre-season progresses with him. But it wasn't a great start, unfortunately. I have to say, with Son.
But look, I think all in all, really good 90 minutes. Good to see the kind of differences in between the Ange system and the Frank system and the kind of different positions that the players are taking up the pitch. And I thought for the most part, the majority of the players looked sharp. It was good to see definitely Vuskovic and Kudus making their first appearances in the Spurs shirt. They were definitely the shining lights, I think, in the game, particularly obviously in the second half, and then the first half I thought it was the fullbacks. But good to be back, people. Good to get off to a winning start to pre-season, and we'll be back next week with the Luton game where we'll go do it all over again. So very much looking forward to that. But 2-0 in the first pre-season game. Luka Vuskovic. man.
What a man.
The guy has arrived. Luka Vuskovic has arrived. Goal and assist in his first 2 touches in the Spurs shirt. Let's see what next week has in store for us.
Remember the name.